Which one did we have here before? Hideout or the mysterious cave? I think we should go to hideout. I'm mostly interested in getting the color off, that would be great.
The cat purrs loudly as it curls itself around your ankles.
Thank you for freeing me from that awful place. The air is so much clearer here, wild and free, just like me. And I remember who I am now, a wizard's cat. But the spell-flinging stinker left me behind, without as much as a look over his shoulder. Bah! It's as if I never made myself a bed on his bony legs, or never chased away the mice that had bite through his books.
Pet the cat and say that the wizard sounds like an ingrate first class.
Oh, so he is. I guarded his library like a griffin would a princess's bedchamber, and look where it got me. I can still hear him now, the crusty old cad. We had us a cruise and 6 days in the sun, but grave duty calls, so I have to run. Too dangerous, my charge, for you, dear old boy. Best you stay here in jolly Fort Joy.
Oh no, 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 no. Frown and ask if he really said it like that in rhymes.
Oh, you get used to it after a while. But that doesn't change the fact that he left me stranded among a bunch of red ropes with prickly magic sticks. No, it's quite clear to me that you are much more worthy of an honest cat's company. You just call for me and I'll be there, all cuddles and claws at your service.
Summon cat familiar. The stats of the summons will depend on caster level and summoning ability. Duration 10 turns, range 13 meters. So it would be at least, I'm not sure I want to use it as a decoy, but it could be useful in certain situations. Depends on, well, what it can do really. There's a harpoon there. Not sure what type of weapon it is. Spear, finesse weapon, right? Right, we need to go there.
Ah, that scent. Unmistakable. How did noxious bulbs end up here?
Noxious bulbs are traps, more or less. Biological traps. Not sure we have to go there though.
What's this? I found something.
Dwarven skeleton. Knockdown arrow. Some gold. A decent amount of gold by standards we've used to getting gold. Usually you get something like 10, 20, that's 100 gold pieces. Oh shit, do I have to go through noxious bulbs? Why are these corpses incinerated when there's only water around? There's some oil, but these are not oil producing bulbs.
These plants look truly sinister. They're arranged in a ring. Is that a natural occurrence?
It's a great chest! Open it!
Bloodied and sad, a severed head sits on its stick. Its eyes snap open and dart from you to the nearest noxious bulb, and back to you again.
Open the chest there! Go on! You know you want to! Open the chest! There's loot in it! Open the chest!
Ask him if bad things happen when you open the chest.
No! Not at all! Good things occur to those who open the chest! Very good things!
Tell him you have to head off.
He gives you a look that says, "Really? You went with that?"
Tell him you're sorry, but he's a pain in the neck.
He rolls his eyes.
Tell him you're reluctant to leave, seeing as he has no body to talk to.
His look turns to one of contempt.
Tell him you have to leave. Ask him if he's sticking around.
He grits his teeth in anger.
Ask if he's okay. He looks like he might have a headache.
His look now carries pure hate.
Tell him you don't mean any offense. Ask if you can part as friends. Offer to shake hands on it.
His eyes dart around, from grass to tree to sky, back to grass. He's pretending you aren't there.
Tell him you realize you have offended. Apologize. You make jokes when you're nervous. He doesn't like it. He can always stick his fingers in his ears. Oh.
The severed head closes its eyes, pretends it's dead.
You grin to yourself and turn away.
Well, at least it's quiet now.
Go on! Open the chest! No bad things happen if you open the chest! I swear!
I tell more jokes to these heads.
A severed head sits rotting on a stick. The last vestige of an ear juts from above its too prominent jawline. A fly buzzes about its nose. Its eyes open. It looks at you. When it speaks, it struggles to move its impaled jaw.
I don't know who you are. Hear this. Don't open the chest. Don't open the chest. Whatever you do, don't open the chest.
Ask him if bad things happen when you open the chest.
Terrible things. Don't open the chest, strange lady. Everything will go home. Don't open the chest.
Considering there's a lot of corpses around that are burned to cinders, I'm inclined to agree that booms will happen if I open the chest. Ask him how he intends to stop you opening the chest.
I shall rely on your honour and consent. I shall rely on your honour and intelligence.
Okay, ask what you can do to help.
Help? Help? Just don't hold the chest out, help! Also...
Gently tell it to go on.
Oh, you look like a good sort. Could you scratch our nose?
The severed undead head looks at you with puppy dog eyes. You're touched and revolted.
Scratch his nose.
You lean across and scratch the dead head's nose. Skin sloughs from the nose onto your finger. You shake it off. It won't come off. Pretending to pat the man's head, you wipe your finger in his hair.
Oh, thanks very much. That's it. Oh, that's it. That doesn't mean you can open the chest, because you can't!
Ask him what crime saw him end up a head on a stick.
Sale story. Usual story. Ain't this state again a good and rotten worker? I was a professional. Lost my head for it. Oh, and it turned out lost Iodi. Iodi. The history!
Ask what work he did when he was alive.
We were A's elders. We held A'ses. We constructed labyrinths. Ragus Rex himself said the one with the gargoyles was the S.A's ever. Right before we cut off our heads.
Brachus himself said the one with the gargoyles was the best maze ever. Ask about the gargoyle maze. What did it hide?
Oh, no. No, you don't. Arthur A's Ilda doesn't give away the king's secrets. I lit a seal. I lit... I'll say nothing is wine.
Point out that the king rewarded his loyalty and expertise by cutting off his head and planting it on a stick. He owes this Brachus nothing.
True. Aren't you civilized cousins survived the howly Ludolf? Ludolf. Asuka. Slaughter! So you're not all evil. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We have a code. We are Arthur A's Elders. We construct the finest labyrinths. We do not give away our secrets. Do your worst.
The head closes its eyes. The conversation is over.
I say you don't open the chest. Or I'd things will happen. Exploding things! No bad things happen if you open the chest. I swear!
Tell him that one of his buddies really wants you to open the chest.
Don't listen. He's Ad. Ad, I'll tell you. Crazy! He wants to die. I know if I could. You will kill us all. And you. Don't own the chest!
Keep your head in acknowledgement as you leave. Don't expect him to do the same.
My chest! Open it!
We had an option earlier to ask about maybe information exchange from in exchange for not opening the chest. I'd like to take that at this point.
Open it!
Get lost and don't open the chest.
Go on! Open
Get
the
lost!
chest!
Don't own the chest!
Right, either open it or don't open it. But if I can't get anything out of these guys, what's the point of not opening it? At the same time, I don't particularly want to get exploded at the moment, so
Open the chest! No bad things happen if you
we'll continue on. We'll have to loop around if we want to go south. We'll let it be for now, we can always come back to it and open the chest. Also, they seem to be the builders of a gargoyle maze, so maybe if we have problems with this said gargoyle maze, they'll be the people to talk to, heads to talk to. Well, things to talk to anyway. That's a suspicious amount of oil here. Ah, there's the bell. How are you supposed to get through this though? I don't recall how you handle these. They're immune to everything. So we might be able to suppress them or move them about. Once in a lifetime explosion, don't care. The bigger problem is, if I start to do something with the poison cloud, what then? Also, where the hell would I want to even move it for it to not become a problem? I just need a pathway at the side, so I think I want to throw it as far away there as possible. Right, as long as we don't aggravate that, it's the effective area of the status effect here is fairly limited.
No sooner have you rung the ornate bell than the face of a lizard woman surfaces from behind a rock up on the ledge before you. Her stare is as sharp as the bolt eyeing you from atop her crossbow.
Bahara. Level 5 trader. Huntsman. Ah, they're selling tier 2 abilities now. Barrage. Tactical retreat. Become hasted and then teleport to target position. This means that we should check the... Oh, for fuck's sakes, the initial encampment and the shops there, they probably are also now selling tier 2 abilities, so we could easily start getting something useful like basic teleportation abilities for someone besides the scoundrel.
Stand back and keep your hands off your weapons. Convince me you're no magister, or draw one last deep breath.
Say a kid called Han can vouch for you. He'd be on an orphanage ship by now if it weren't for your intervention.
Her eyes go wide with delight upon your mentioning Han.
May the goddess keep you for saving that little Lionheart. Young Han told me the story of his rescue. Oh, you are most welcome indeed.
With one graceful motion, the lizard throws down a tangled mess of vines for you to climb.
Come, ascend to the sanctuary of Amadia. You'll find you're not the only guest here, but the Great Mother provides for all.
Who wanted to see her?
Be welcome to this sanctuary. Amadia's eye in the storm.
The Red Prince interrupts as you're about to speak.
This woman is a dreamer. I can see the answers spinning in her eyes. Do rest your legs for a bit while I question her.
By all means.
You're too kind.
Red Prince and the Dreamer exchange courteous pleasantries, as if they're finding themselves in a palace hall instead of a death-ridden swamp. She introduces herself as Bahara. To your surprise, they next lie down on the ground in a seemingly warm embrace and fall asleep. What follows, though, is far from peaceful. They claw and thrash as if struggling for dear life, caught in the hold of some hideous nightmare. Then they wake, haggard, exhausted. They speak of a vision, Brahmos, and another red lizard.
Ask him if he's alright.
Praise the daylight. I am now. There was death in that dream, chasing me like 100 hungry lions. But at least I've new directions. When we escape and find ourselves on the mainland once more, I must search for Brahmos the Wanderer. Then I will finally know the truth, the very secret of my soul.
Now these are allied creatures, not neutral.
I'm glad you're safe now.
We aren't really safe here, are we?
Another level up.
So long as Gareth returns, we will.
You're alive! Wasn't sure you would be. Samadel, this is the one I told you about.
The dishevelled lizard eyes you with hope, though her hope is tinged with mistrust.
Han tells me you helped him out of Fort Joy. For that, you have my thanks.
Tell her she's welcome.
Can I ask if... Did you happen to meet a man named Gareth on your way here?
I'm not sure. Why?
He'll be back, Samadel. I know he will. He has to.
I don't recall all the names. Some, but... Doesn't sound familiar, but at the same time I couldn't swear to it.
He has to, indeed. We need our leader. And if he doesn't return with help soon, we haven't a hope.
Ask if you could help somehow.
You're kind to offer. But you'd best talk to Gareth's squire, Exeter. He'll know where your talents can be most used.
Focus on your breathing, Jules.
Pyromancy, pyrokinetic, fireball. Supernova. Explode, creating fire surfaces and dealing fire damage in a large area around you, except areas blocked by obstacles. Spontaneous combustion. Deals fire damage to target character. If the character is affected by burning or necrofire, remove those statuses and deal additional damage for each turn of duration remaining. So, more effective against targets who are already on fire. Also, what the fuck is necrofire?
Focus on your breathing, Jules. Slow and deep.
We could afford some of this, but I don't really see a reason when we are lacking much more fundamental skills.
Now, Han, let's take a look at your nasty leg injury.
Catch you later, Skipper. It's good you're here.
Are you actually injured? Yes.
It needs to be changed.
My Lucian's locked. Stop fidgeting, lad. Save your strength.
Thanks. I feel a lot better. You know, the other injured here could use your help too. Simone means well, but she's a cook. Her kind of healing's more suited to a steak than a man.
Say your collar is mighty tight. Ask Han where the person who removed his is.
Sure, Leia's her name. She'll be down by the water. Word of warning though, she's kind of a basket case.
Okay. Looks like we can do a lot here.
Focus on your breathing.
Samadel smiles with relief at Han's healed leg, bowing gently in thanks when your eyes meet. The young woman chews her lower lip as she observes the injured before her.
Take the pain away.
Hydrosophist. What did we get? Soothing Cold. Regenerate magic armor for all allies around caster. This is a must-have, I'd say. Winter Blast. Winter Blast was a high-level ability in the first game. It seems to do more or less the same here, maybe not quite, but it's only a second level ability or second tier spell. Ice Fan. Oh, the rest are attack spells. I'm also thinking maybe we should take the rain spell instead. Because clearly there's not much I can do about fire, for example, at the moment. And it's a problem now constantly.
She bends to grab a rag, wiping her blood-smeared hands. She looks up and sees you.
If you're looking for healing, sorcerer, well, there's not much I can do.
Noting the wounded, remark that she has a lot on her plate.
The woman wrings the blood-stained rag in her hands anxiously.
Magisters aren't known for their mercy. Many of us died. And the ones here will likely follow the same fate, by a slower road.
Query whether there's anything more that can be done for the injured.
I've done all I can. Their wounds are too great. All I can offer them now is prayer and a cup of water.
Ask her if you might try your hand at helping them.
If you know a way, I'd be beyond grateful.
Has she tried using healing magic?
Magic? All I've got is my own two hands and...
She trails off and limply gestures to her paltry makeshift infirmary.
I'm not even a healer. Ours was killed in the attack. I'm just a cook.
Yeah, tell her you'll see what you can do.
Do what you will. Just don't cause them any more suffering.
Seems like an easy task.
Claude, turn your head if you can hear me.
Fairly empty level up again.
Matis, the wound is festering. It needs to be changed.
I will not be a burden. Leave me be.
Running out of space. We're not using all of this set, but I still think I would like to get the extra spells. Take more memory too. Because we are looking at level of funds where we can start to actually afford this, so we're going to need all of that. Also, maybe rearrange some of this shit.
Fine, I swear. See to the others.
Don't move, Jules. Save your strength. Claude, are you still with us?
In an instant, my wounds have all but vanished. I didn't think. I was certain I wouldn't. Thank you.
Say it was nothing and ask what happened to him.
The Magister flagship. It has ballast that tore our ship into kindling. A shard from our own mast pierced my side. I'm lucky the others managed to haul me all the way here. Especially after I saw what the Magisters did to those of us they captured.
He shudders at the memory.
They turned the living into shriekers. Crucified wretches that unleash pure destruction on anyone who tries to pass. Nobody survives those things.
I will not be a burden. Leave me.
I wish I had a fitting way to thank the person who saved my life. As it is, all I can offer is, well, it's not much, but maybe you'll find some use for it. Thank you.
Use for what? Did I get something?
Claude, are you still with us?
Bleed fire. Pyrokinetic 1, Polymorph 1. Enemies will bleed fire when hit. Reduces fire resistance by 20%, also creates a small fire surface beneath each target and ignites surfaces in the area. Combination skills. These might be problematic because by the time you get to the ones you might be interested in, you have already decided who's going to develop what. So I feel like there's not much to be gained by hiding this information, or basically not having it in the game already to see what you can take at one. What spells and abilities are available throughout the entire game. It's also, we're living in an age of the internet, so the information isn't exactly secret and it's impossible to keep a secret. So anyone can just Google it immediately. Only the people who don't do it are suffering from the consequences. But we have no one who can learn this at the moment. If they want to talk to the healer after being healed, I think I'll do the healing.
You healed me. How did you? Oh, never mind. What? I don't care how. I only care that today won't be my last.
I got some sort of an amulet out of him. What happened to him?
I don't remember much. I barely had time to realize the Magisters were attacking before I was injured. The last thing I saw were these things, these shriekers. Those Magisters are gonna pay in blood for what they did to us.
If my mother were here, she'd box my ears for not being able to thank you properly. Though I reckon that walloping from the Reds was punishment enough. Take this, at least. It'll have to do. Thank you.
Bring them all back from the field.
Skull Amulet, 11 magic armor.
I'm fine, I swear. See to the others.
We are fortunate indeed to have you.
You've healed us. All of us. I owe you a debt. We all do.
What happened?
The Magisters attacked our camp back at the harbour. I caught one of their arrows right in my side. That would have been a slow death. I've seen it before.
Question whether he'll be able to join in the fight to try and escape this island.
He lands a comradely slap on your back. His strength has definitely returned.
Don't you doubt it. This old war serpent's still got some fight left in him, especially now that wound is healed.
Might have to heal them twice.
I'm healed.
They're gonna be all right. Thank you. Thank you, gods above, thank you.
Ooh.
The fog is
A dagger, a short sword, a flat bow, or a wand of nature. I sort of want the wand. It's not amazing, but it would do something other than poison damage at a decent amount too. At the same time, Sabine is a more important damage dealer, and the dagger is more appropriate to her.
I'm alive! I'm alive!
The fog is lifting.
There isn't much I can do. Right. Skills will be spent when we actually have something, skills we can buy. Exter. There's like 3 guys maybe left. I'll talk with them all.
A young man in oversized armor paces around a table covered with a spread of maps, his face a tight scowl of frustration.
Polymorph. Medusa head. Petrifying aura, petrifying visage. Heart of steel provides physical armor. Spread your wings. Sprouts temporary wings to fly when you move, allowing you to ignore ground surfaces, incompatible with spider legs. Ruptured tendons. When they try to move, they will take piercing damage. Sawtooth knife. Pierces enemies' physical armor and directly deals piercing damage. Sets bleeding if the enemy has no physical armor. So a couple of attack skills.
You're safe in bed. So close your sweet eyes and rest.
There should be one more. Cloak and dagger. Teleport without breaking sneaking. I can't afford this. But she already sort of has a mobility teleport like that. I'm not sure if this is worth much, but I'll take whatever they can pay me. Not selling the Spear of Brachus Rex. Stardust, holy shit, that's like 700 a bag.
Wished Bonnie Baron, now don't you cry.
It's not that much cheaper if you buy the herb itself. Ridiculous prices. You would have to be have a very specific need to do this. This guy is selling good gear in general though. Belts too. We have no belts at all.
Please come back.
I guess that's pretty much everything. What was I thinking of buying? I don't even recall anymore. It must not have been that important. I think the big problem is that these are all for the rogue, and the rogue doesn't really need these all that badly. Still, Heart of Steel is actually a very good one, simply because it restores physical armor. Restores physical armor each turn for how many turns? Restore 13 physical armor for 4 turns. Provides 23 right at the start. It's a good ability. It's a really good ability to have. I can barely afford it. Actually, I can't afford it quite. Still can't. I have a little bit of extra cash on someone, but game refuses to put it on. Yeah, we were left with 25 gold. We're piss poor right now, but this is a good ability.
Every approach blocked. Oh, damn it! What good are battle tactics against those things anyway?
He glances up. In quick succession, he becomes aware of both your presence and the fact that you're not a familiar face.
Who the blazes are you?
Introduce yourselves as Loseth.
Losa, eh? On the run from Fort Joy, are you? A seeker can always recognize a sorcerer when they see one. Though, of course, your collar gives you away.
Pause. Then say you met an elf named Verdas in Fort Joy Dungeons. He mentioned a group who might seek you out.
You met Verdas? Then he's as good as dead. We're the seekers he spoke of. We were supposed to free him. Instead, we've failed him.
Say that you're still not clear what exactly a seeker is.
Seekers? Well, we guard the true principles of Lucian. There are sorcerers who can follow in his path and become divine, godwoken. We seek them out and protect them. Verdus was a godwoken, our best hope. Our last hope, most likely. We tried to free him, but we failed. Now all we can do is flee. The Magisters have us cornered. They have these weapons called Shriekers. If we try to go against them unprepared, we're dead. We've lost many already.
Ask just what these Shriekers are.
They were sorcerers once, but after whatever perversions the Magisters subjected them to, they're death incarnate. If they can see you, they can kill you, instantly. After we retreated here, our leader, Sir Gareth, set out looking for some ancient weapons that could counter those things. Then we could break the Magister blockade and escape this island. But he hasn't returned. If Sir Gareth doesn't come back with those weapons in tow, well, this island will be our grave.
Ask more about Gareth.
Sir Gareth? He's the finest seeker I know. I'm honored to serve as his squire. He wouldn't let us down. Not unless something's gone horribly wrong.
I wonder how they found out about these weapons.
The young man throws a furtive glance towards the shrine looming out of the water nearby, then leans in to whisper.
The masked priestess, Gratiana. She gave us shelter here and told Sir Gareth how to stop the Shriekers. But she unnerves me. Speak to her if you wish. She may know more.
Say that you'll look for Gareth and these weapons, if that's what it takes to get off this island.
You'll help us?
His shoulders visibly relax, the weighty armor upon them settling with a clink.
Thank you. Allies are in short supply in this place. If you help us, I promise, we'll get you as far away from this place as possible.
Questions, questions.
Please, ask. Whatever helps.
Ask what happens if they manage to defeat the Magisters.
The Magister flagship, the Lady Vengeance, she's anchored at the old harbour. Once the way is clear, we're to take her and get the hell out of here.
No. Take your lead. Seems like I'm repeating the same questions.
Hold up. I've got to take care of some business.
Go ahead.
Friend, how does life find you?
Well, I'll be. If it ain't the beasts of the sea. Stories of your beard alone fly across Riverland like flocks of crows. Fair a bit more inland than you'd prefer, yeah?
Ain't I know it, ain't I know it.
Beast claps him on the back and chuckles heartily. If they hadn't met just a moment ago, you might think the dwarves lifelong friends.
I don't want to intrude, seeing as how you got your own trials and travails, but I don't suppose you've been to Reaper's Coast of late. Maybe heard of a fella named, what was it? Lohar?
Lohar? Yeah, I know of the guy, from back when I was looking for fishing work out in Driftwood. He's, how shall I say, an entrepreneur. Still out there a bit. Had his stubby fingers and a lot of pies, if you get my meaning.
Sounds like a man I'd buy 2 flagons of mead for. One for drinking and one for toasting. I got something for him. I'll tell him you sent your regards, Mr...
It's Duggan it is. Oh, and this here's Leah. You gotta be sick of that collar. Leah, you can get it fixed up, yeah?
Sure thing.
No longer colored.
Bet you're glad to be rid of it. Amazing to meet the beast in flesh. Let's see if we can get you back to sea. Fighting the good fight, yeah? Your lungs have got to be starved for the salt air.
Beast chortles and nods, then passes you a sly wink. Such a charm bucket.
Well, bucket of something. We still can't use the special ability. Not enough source points. I sort of was hoping that we would start generating them after the color is gone. I clearly don't understand how the source is supposed to work here. The skills themselves aren't that special, I mean, they look solid enough. But, like...
Bless and protect your humble servant.
They're not even good enough to be once per battle abilities. I mean, this is a solid magic armor attack that also heals your own magic armor. This is good, but it's nothing amazingly good compared to what you can do normally anyway. So why the limitation? If there's something positive, we should be able to equip amulets at this point. You need more wits. I think I had another one. Two others actually.
Echoes of death.
Wisht, Bonnie Baron, now don't you cry.
Please come back.
The birds are asleep, the moon's in the sky.
Maybe we should fortify this place. Make us
The
stand.
seven watch o'er us. You're safe
No,
in bed.
no, we don't have the time. Think, damn it.
So close your sweet eyes.
There's two people left. Urban looks like a smith, and Gratiana, level 7 trader, massive armor, health and shielding compared to me. And we have the quick travel destination, excellent.
A grim-faced man sifts through a pile of badly damaged weapons, salvaging the repairable, ditching the broken. He picks up a rapier, the blade nicked and splintered, the hilt twisted.
Necromancy and summoning, I think. What are tier 2 necromancy skills? Death Wish. Character receives a damage bonus equal to the percentage of their missing vitality. Seems like a risky way to play the game. If you have low vitality and high armor, you could maybe play and get a huge damage bonus. At the same time, at least the rogues had the abilities that penetrate physical armor entirely and do damage to vitality directly, so it's not like you can play with a single hit point or anything. Decaying Touch would be certainly something I would want sooner rather than later. When the enemy starts to heal themselves, we have to have it, otherwise they're going to be very tough to take down. Physical Infection costs 3 action points to cast. I don't care what it does, too expensive for me. Echoes of Pain. Damage transfer. Okay, mark a target so that it will receive all the damage you receive. A lot of summoning crap. Target totem or summon deals 100% more base damage during its next turn, but then dies. Once you hit summoning ability level of 10, a colossal incarnate champion will answer your summons. 5 was the maximum in the first game. So do they have abilities, new abilities for all 10 tiers? And we were getting like high level magic on tier 2 already. So what the hell could they have? I don't know. They can't have that. That's a huge amount of abilities anyway. I think there was something like 4 on the first level, 3 on the second level. Ah, that doesn't matter, that's a... ooh. Blame Rune. When did we get runes? Ask him about his broken rapier.
He holds the damaged blade up to the light.
This was Halon's blade. It was his first, it was also his last. He didn't intend to die here, but die here he did. He was an ordinary soul with an extraordinary heart, Halon. and he died for what he believed.
And what did Halorn believe in?
What did Halorn believe in? He believed in truth. He believed in hope. He believed that Alexander is a killer of Godwoken. I believe that on one point at least, he was right.
Take the rapier. Note the bend near the point of the blade. Raise the sword and bring it down, flat and hard on the edge of the table.
The point breaks away, leaving a jagged edge. The sword is shorter now, but it'll do more damage.
Keep the sword. Rapier would be a backstabbing weapon. I would use a better one.
Who are you?
Tell him you're his reason to keep going, if he wants it. Nod your goodbyes and walk away.
He stares at you, mouth open. His gaze drops to find, to his surprise, his knuckles white on a weapon in his hand. He smiles to himself, gets back to work.
Ooh, it's actually a very good blade. Better than what we just got as a quest reward. Much better. And she was already one of our better damage dealers, so this will multiply quite nicely with critical hits. I can't afford anything he's selling me.
Before you stands a figure, her body wreathed in cloth. All you can see of her eyes are two dark holes in an ornate mask.
A mix of skill books and air. Does air have teleportation? Yes. 600 gold for that. Can't afford it. That's something we must have.
Wished money barn, now don't you cry. The birds are asleep.
Oh, there's another ring. A star test here. Constitution, hit points, magic armor, and restoration. That's a good one.
Armadia's blessings, child. I have not seen this face in our sanctuary before. Pray, who are you?
Tell her you are Lose. She may not have heard of you, but way out here in the back swamps, though.
I have not, but I do know that the stars that shine brightest often fade the quickest. Whatever pain burns in your chest, you will always have a home here. I am Gratiana, priestess of Armadia. It is a privilege to welcome you to her sanctuary from Brachus's vile swamps.
Ask who this goddess Armadia is.
Armadia is the blessed mother of magic. All that use it can trace their skill back to her grace. This is her shrine. She has sustained me here for many years, even when the evils of Brachus's swamp threatened to drown me.
Wonder why she decided to settle in such a desolate place.
It was not always thus. This swamp was once a rich, lush land before he came, before Brachus.
Ask her to tell you more about Brachus.
He is no more, thank the goddess. It has been many centuries since he walked Rivellon, although he still casts a shadow over this land. He ruled this realm as a tyrant and beast. He stole its source and left only death. On this island he built and tested his weapons. These marshes were a playground for he and his necromancers. Many unfortunate souls were brought here. Blessed were those who died quickly, or died at all.
Observe that she seems to know a lot about Brachus. Is she a student of history?
I have been here for many years. It has given me a lot of time to reflect on the past and learn from it. In truth, the torments of Brachus and of these magisters were not so different. Both purged source from this land. Indeed, the Magisters have even taken Brachus's worst tools. First, the purging ones, and now those shriekers. Without something more powerful than these sticks the Seekers are armed with, those crucified monstrosities will kill them to a man.
Assure her that you'll find a way to save them.
Twice today I've heard those words. Their leader, Gareth, insisted that he could lead them out of this place. I told him of Brachus's cache of soul-forged weapons, arms not even the Shriekers could stand against. He ventured out to find them, but has not returned. I fear for these souls, if he has come to any harm in the marsh. Without the wands he seeks, not one will escape this island.
Interesting. Wonder if you could get directions to this secret cache of weapons?
Gladly, but I fear you'll fare no better than the Seeker. North of here you'll find the ruins of Brachus's Source Armory. Nothing in this land can counter the Shrieker's power like those weapons. Without them, the Seekers are truly hopeless.
Promise her you'll do everything you can to find him.
Walk ever in Armadia's grace, child.
Well, not sure what we should do.
Please,
I think our focus should be
your humble servant.
the fortress still. We visited the prison level and part of the main level, but not the upper levels at all, for example, and certainly not the outsides. And I'm pretty confident now that we're capable level-wise at least of handling everything. It's a big deal because it provides a lot of extra hit points. Give us buffer to do the necessary tanking. Equipment isn't exactly great, neither skills, but we're not gonna get money by constantly wrapping up quests. We need to actually loot something. So, not sure how far back we want to teleport though.
Protect your humble servant.
The Fort Joy Square might be the closest place.
Amidst the placid little pond, the face of a goddess lies half submerged in the water. Rivulets stream from her deep-set eyes like endless cascades of sunlit tears. You feel peaceful in her presence, soothed somehow by an intangible comfort.
You notice that her face looks familiar. It is the one you saw in the dungeons of Fort Joy.
As you gaze upon her loving face, you find yourself drawn into a trance-like state. A voice seems to reach you from within your mind and from the furthest reaches of the stars. Its whispers caress you like a breeze.
Listen intently. Expose yourself to this unearthly voice.
The voice grows stronger, like a breeze picking up. What were whispers become words.
My children, my children. Gone are my children. Dead are they in the cradle I have ruled.
Commiserate with her plight. Few fates are worse than hers.
A feeling of indescribable sadness assails you. It feels like your heart merges with the spirits, torn together by a coil of thorns.
My child, weep with me for the mother who has lost. Weep with me and bathe in the tears of Armadia.
Without a word, in absolute privacy, let her know you two have much to weep about.
You feel the goddess's presence surround you, feel her nestle you tenderly, like a mother.
We have two options. Ask her to save you. Better is death than the slow descent into madness. Or Admit you are disturbed to realize the lengths you will go in order to rid of what possesses you. If entire worlds must bleed and die, so be it. I want to do whatever it takes to get rid of the thing that possesses me, but I'm not going to let entire worlds bleed and die just to save my own ass. So, beseech her to save you. Release you here and now. Death is better than your slow descent into madness.
You can feel the thing stir deep within. Your plea has angered it, and you can feel it pounding against your ribs like a beast against the bars of its cage. You wince, but Amadia intervenes, and the pounding subsides. The intensity of her embrace deepens. Never since the unremembered days of childhood have you been so enveloped in maternal safety.
My child, I love you. My own, my own. I will guard you. Wander where you will, and cherish the kiss of Amadia.
As suddenly as it came, the voice is gone, and you wake from its presence as if from dream-filled slumber. The pond now shines with an inner light, and standing in its waters, you feel rejuvenated, pure, as if born anew.
Amadia's grace, blessings upon this day.
Blessed steam applies healing.
The birds are asleep.
Okay, did not expect that. I wanted to teleport away.
The seven was yours.
By Amadia's grace, what did you do?
So close your sweet eyes and rest.
Tell her that the statue spoke to you, and then there was mist everywhere.
This is incredible. In all my years, I've never seen the goddess bestow her blessing on someone. I am humbled to be in your presence.
This isn't normal. Ask why it's happening.
Perhaps once, when the seven gods were still strong. But it has been many years since this was anything other than a pond for me to pray at. Amadia's strength waned when the divine Lucian accepted the power of the seven. This is most unusual. Truly we are blessed to know you. If Amadia favors you, that is all I need to know. Go in peace, sister.
Give her your blessing and leave.
The birds are asleep.
The goddess's tears still stream freely, but an aura of loving calm now permeates the soft, moist air.
Bow your head, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and call to her. Right. Oh shit. Oh shit. Magisters are hostile, because I don't have the colors. Shit.